Everybody, I'm Michael Ferstenfeld, and today's gratitude is for Larry Monroe and a song on the radio. It was written December 8th, 2019. My first year in Austin, when I was a little baby DJ, I couldn't go home for Christmas because radio never slept. Somebody was going to have to work, and I was 22 and wanted to be a full-time DJ, so of course, who else would take the 12-hour Christmas midnight to noon slot? It was a beautiful, beautiful night and day, cool at night, and the morning sun warmed everything up, bright and dry and glorious. I hadn't been here long enough to have cedar fever. Usually, I just worked till 6 a.m. We broadcast from beneath our tower, as you had to back then, and I had never known how shockingly lovely the pasture full of paint ponies near Niederwald could be, with our tower looming over it. My shift ended. Driving home in my 1976 bright yellow AMC Pacer, I ran out of gas. Because I was 22 and an idiot, and it was the olden days, it had never occurred to me that I might not be able to find an open gas station on Christmas Day in what was then rural central Texas. I left my car on the frontage road of I-35 and hiked to a gas station I knew about in Onion Creek. It was closed, but there was a payphone in front, and I had change. I knew Larry Monroe was in town. He worked at the same radio station back then and was always kind to me. He taught me the art of the segue. I had never even heard that term before because 22, idiot. It was the olden days, so I had some phone numbers memorized, so I called Larry, and he answered. He drove from his duplex in Travis Heights to the gas station in Onion Creek, picked me up, and drove me to my first apartment in Austin, which was on Bull Creek, where the very nice retirement community Westminster is now. A week or two prior, I'd taken my trash to the dumpster and discovered a perfectly good, if somewhat scrubby, Christmas tree had been thrown in. It was covered in tinsel. I dragged it out, propped it up with cinder blocks in my tiny living room. I bought one string of lights and strung them on the poor, dry fire hazard of a tree. I had a bunch of yarn hair ribbons. Did I actually wear yarn hair ribbons? I don't remember wearing them, but I had a ton of them in red and green and blue and purple, and I tied them on the branches of my modest first adult person Christmas tree. No one had seen my Christmas tree. When Larry pulled into the drive of my apartment complex, I said, "Please come see my Christmas tree. No one has seen it." And he turned off his car and came up to my apartment and looked at my silly little tree and said it was so pretty and wished me a Merry Christmas. He left, and I called my family and talked for a few minutes, and then I got in bed and cried until I fell asleep. It was a long time ago, and I would have cried my first Christmas away from my family one way or another. So what always strikes me is how tender and kind Larry was to the little embryo of a person he ended up rescuing on a beautiful Christmas day. I will always be grateful for his kindness, for knowing him, and for the things he taught me. I still love a good segue and get super pissed off when the DJ's segue timing sucks. And I love your bridge in Travis Heights, Larry. And you would too. And my favorite thing about just plain old radio is when you're just driving and this perfect song comes on and it's so random and you didn't know what would happen, and maybe, I don't know, the birds in the sky are flying to the rhythm of the music. Like, I remember hearing the song Helpless when I was in college, stuck waiting for a train, and as they sang "Big birds flying across the sky," there was a flock of birds sort of swooping up and down perfectly. And anyway, you know the feeling. It's just random where suddenly music is this perfect thing in the moment. And for me, it's mostly in the car. And I'm grateful I've gotten to have that feeling. It's one of my favorite things about being human. Just wanted to say thanks to Cyndi. I chose this piece because that's one of my favorite things about being human too.